Growing up, I always loved going to Disneyland, but I've never been to any of the other Disney parks. There just wasn't a whole lot that interested me that I couldn't get at the California park. But Disney World in Florida is literally removing just about everything I'd want to go there for. Dinoland USA, it's tough to be a bug. There's only a short window remaining to experience MuppetVision 3D, so there's only one reasonable thing to do. Leave work, hurry and get to the airport so I can board my flight to Orlando. After the flight, we gotta hurry and grab my bags. You know, the airport's kinda peaceful at 4 a.m. Hurry onto this really slow moving floor. I probably just could've walked this and it would've been faster, but whatever. Hop into a rental car, and on this loop out of the airport, seeing Orlando for the first time in over a decade, it hit me. This is a stupid idea. So Disney World is actually 4 separate parks, massively spaced out. And my brilliant idea was to do all of them in a single day and then just fly back home the day after. I would skip most of the big attractions, simply because I did not care. I was on a speed run to visit the silliest and strangest parts of each park, most of which set to be burned to the ground in the near future. So back to the trip. I was hoping to see some gator business on the drive over. Sadly didn't happen, but hey, I made it to Disney World. The all-star hotels are all right next to each other. There's sports, movies, and music hotels. I'm staying at the All-Star Music, specifically the Jazz Building, where they play non-stop jazz. Imagine getting the Ska Building. TV in the hotel has this welcome to Disney World thing. Whatever, dude, I'm watching Bluey. It also just hits me here that I'm here in Orlando and I'm still in my work uniform because that's just the kind of day it's been. So after a quick change of clothes, I think it's time for a nap. Since we're here, I guess we might as well explore the hotel, and I find an arcade. I guess I'm just out of touch because when I hear arcade, I'm like, oh sweet, where's Robotron? And then in reality, it's just like Doodle Jump, Temple Run. And all that's fine, it's just not what I'm expecting. I'm here looking for burger time. Lots of cool stuff here though, including a bunch of Sega games. It's always awesome to see Crazy Taxi in the wild. And Daytona, that's another cool one to see. They even had Monkey Ball while I was wearing my Monkey Ball shirt. Whoa. There's a nice gift shop inside the hotel, but I'm more interested in exploring outside. The Music Hotel has a lot of neat stuff to see with different buildings based on different styles of music. The Sports Hotel has a giant Coca-Cola, that's my favorite sport, but movies is something else. Each building is based on a different popular Disney movie from the time the hotel opened in 1999. So you have Toy Story, you know, makes sense, hugely beloved series, still relevant today. Fantasia, 101 Dalmatians, sure, both of those are classics. But then there's like Herbie, like the car. Honestly, I didn't know this was a Disney thing. And then we have the peak, the pinnacle of Disney hotels. I saw the giant hockey nets and sticks and assumed I'd wandered into the sports resort, but no. This is a Mighty Ducks hotel. This was such a weird franchise about this coach and these kids playing hockey, and also a cartoon about space ducks playing hockey. And here it's being given the same treatment as Toy Story. I can't describe how much I love this. I need this to be around forever. It's getting late in the evening now, time to check out Disney Springs and get a pizza dinner. This is like downtown Disney from Disneyland, a bunch of shops and stuff. There's a giant Lego store with an even gianter line just to get in, so I will pass. Though this Lego Sea Monster is pretty cool. The World of Disney store is also incredibly crowded. I'm overwhelmed and sleepy, and I would go to bed, but I made a realization. I forgot to pack shoes. I'm still wearing my awful worn down work shoes. So I find a Target, buy a cheap pair, and turn in for the night. I've got 4 entire parks to walk tomorrow. I wake up very early in the morning, and first thing, I play a little Pokemon X on my Nintendo 3DS. The Pokemon games would wish you happy birthday in the Pokemon Center, and that just feels special. Oh yeah, it's my birthday today. The sky is still dark, but I've got places to be. Out in front of the hotel, I wait for the bus heading to Animal Kingdom. Bus ride is pretty short, and here we are. First stop is Pandora from Avatar. This giant, beautiful, detailed area. But that's really just a pit stop. The real fun is next door in Dinoland USA. Disney parks are known for their attention to detail, these beautifully designed buildings that feel like you've stepped into another world. And then Dinoland kinda just gives off state fair vibes, down to it even looking like a parking lot. So many buildings with goofy dino art, cheesy signs with dinosaur puns everywhere. I'm in heaven. This almost passes state fair and crosses over into middle of the desert off the interstate tourist trap territory. It's wonderful. I live for stuff like this. There's a bunch of these cutout signs for you to take pictures in, and obviously I took advantage of all of them. The big ride here is Triceratops Spin. This is just like the beloved flying Dumbo ride, but with dinosaurs instead. And while Dumbo only lets you move up and down, this lets you tilt the dino forward and back. As iconic as Dumbo is, I kinda like this one better, I'm gonna be honest. And you get a wonderful view of the entire Dinoland from up here. You can really take in its magnificence. They even have all these rigged carnival games too, just for that extra bit of authenticity. Even the ticket prices were authentic. These were way more than they were worth. But I won a plush of the Triceratops from Triceratops Spin, so that's pretty cool. All over this area of the park, there's signs for Donald Duck's Dino Bash. I never learned what this was. So let's check out the dinosaur gift shop. My entire 2023 trip to Disneyland, California, I was looking for Muppet stuff, and walked away with nothing more than a Fozzie Bear mug. But here, tucked away in the Dinoland USA gift shop of all places, I found an entire section dedicated to Kermit the Frog merch. I don't know why, and I don't care. This is awesome. But there's one thing left in... I'm sorry, what's going on with this dinosaur's face? It looks like handsome Squidward. There's one more ride tucked away behind Dinoland USA. A ride I could have never prepared myself for learning the existence of. An entire ride based on the film from the year 2000, Dinosaur, with a huge statue of the dinosaur from Dinosaur. I don't remember a thing about this movie. I don't even remember this guy's name, but I love him. The line is this cool dinosaur museum leading up to the ride, which is basically Disneyland's Indiana Jones, except you can barely see anything, and it feels like the ride will kill you at any moment. This experience includes dark places and scary dinosaurs. Anyway, dinosaur rules. I couldn't stop laughing the entire ride. I loved every single second. Dinoland USA is amazing. Everything about it feels like it shouldn't exist. I'm sure whatever's replacing this will technically be better, but it won't be nearly as funny. When they demolish Dinoland USA, a part of me will die with it. Check yourself before you T-Rex yourself. I take it back, tear it down, that's fine. Animal Kingdom's sorta cool because it's not just rides, it's also like a little zoo. There's funny animals around the park. And then there's the big centerpiece, the giant tree. You can head down this path around it, looking at all the beautiful art of animals covering it. This thing is massive, the walk is long and gorgeous, and waiting for you at the end, inside the core of this iconic centerpiece, is a Bug's Life show where a stink bug farts on you and makes the whole theater smell. Yes, the soon-to-be removed or already removed, It's Tough to Be a Bug is inside this huge landmark. I didn't get any video of the actual show. I was too enthralled by the bugs. Water sprays at the audience, spiders drop from the ceiling onto the crowd. The seats move underneath you so it feels like there's bugs crawling in your seat. Children weren't just crying, children were like sobbing. This made the whole trip worth it. Animal Kingdom also has this really cool looking roller coaster, but I was only here for dinos and bugs. Back onto the bus as we head to Hollywood Studios. They have this big Toy Story park here, which I mostly skipped over, though I did stop for one ride. Disneyland California does have Toy Story Mania, but I've never actually been on it before, so this counts as a new ride for me. I didn't film anything of substance, all I got was every instance of Stinky Pete that I could find. I would never be hired to film for a documentary because I just get distracted by things like Stinky Pete too easily. The whole Star Wars area is over here too, but I skipped over this completely because there was only one thing that I cared about. While Disneyland removed any trace of Muppets years ago, for the time being, Disney World still has this whole corner of the park, but not for long. The off-limits areas are Muppet Lab techs only. Security are all pigs because
Police, the cops, the fuzz, the P.I. Don't you dare! Well, I wouldn't think of it.
there used to be a Muppet store back here that sold some exclusive MuppetVision stuff, but it's been closed since 2020. And I guess since they're taking down this whole section of the park, it's gonna stay closed forever. Still, for the time being, this is probably the coolest building to ever exist. It's time for lunch, and where better to stop than Pizza Rizzo, a real restaurant themed around Rizzo the Rat. There's a few funny things hanging up on the walls inside, and it looks like they have a plant-based Italian sub. Downstairs was pretty packed, so I went upstairs where it was weirdly empty. I don't think anyone else knew upstairs existed. This was probably the best rat sandwich I've ever had, and I ate it while underneath a giant disco ball. The whole upstairs is really cool. I love all these Rizzo trash cans. So much artwork of different Muppets hanging up on the walls. And a case full of fake Muppety advertisement. This really feels like a restaurant owned by Rizzo, and no way, there's a New Zealand reference here. You guys don't understand. I am obsessed with this character. A full New Zealand deep dive analysis video coming soon, but seeing this character referenced at a huge Disney park was weirdly one of the highlights of my day. The bathrooms outside Pizza Rizzo is Gonzo's Royal Flush, the plumbing company Gonzo owns in the 2011 film. The main attraction of this area is not a ride, but rather in Muppet tradition, a show, MuppetVision 3D. The building is amazing before you even go inside. Posters and character cutouts, Statler and Waldorf are there and they're being funny. Sweetums is real and he only gets realer. There's more posters and props in the hallway leading inside. There's a great little pre-show, and now it's time to get things started.
I think that is all you guys need to know. Just know that MuppetVision 3D is one of the single greatest films ever made in the history of American cinema.
And you know what? That guy was right. I said it earlier, MuppetVision is peak. The doors open as you walk inside the Muppet Theater, and this speaks for itself. This is awesome. Once again, I got no footage of the actual show because I was too immersed in the experience, but Statler and Waldorf show up in the balcony, there's cannons being shot around you, Sweetums comes out and starts walking around. The whole show is extremely funny as well.
So it's going to be a swell demonstration, and at no time will we be stooping to any cheap 3D tricks.
Did you say cheap 3D tricks?
You see, we invited distinguished scientists from all over the world to come and work here. Unfortunately, none of them showed up.
Unlike the Bugs Life show that gave kids trauma, kids were screaming with laughter instead of fear. And it makes me so happy seeing kids still enjoying the Muppets. They've said that they're closing down MuppetVision and demolishing all this cool stuff that I've talked about around it, but they've also said that they are going to preserve the film somehow. But the thing is, it's not just like the movie's funny, it's also kind of the immersion part of it. You're in the Muppet Theater, there's characters coming out and stuff shooting around you. It's like you're sitting in the crowd watching the Muppet Show. Just like watching the film on a normal screen is like, yeah, it's cool, it's not the same. And we as a species have failed for letting this happen. With one of the best parts of our trip behind us, we move on to the worst, the Skyliner. I don't really have a problem with heights, but I do have a problem with whatever this was. This was terrifying. I felt a little bit nauseous during and after, but it is a quick and convenient way to get to our next destination, Epcot. Check out this duck family. I never realized the Epcot ball was this big. I thought it was like Universal Studios globe size, and was always confused why it was the park's centerpiece. I was like, I don't know, it's kind of small, like you're not gonna see it unless you're right there. But no, I'm way back here and I can see it. That's a little bit bigger than I thought it was gonna be. There's actually a whole ride inside of here. I really had no idea. It takes you through different points in time. Mine was set to French narration. Oops. We got stuck a couple times, but I didn't really mind. This one was just nice to be on. And I did manage to get actual footage of the ride this time. If If anyone wants to hire my talents, don't. There's this part of the ride where it takes your picture and it shows you your future. My picture ended up like this. Anyway, awesome ride. I went on Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. I didn't get any footage of it, and I don't really have much to say other than, yeah, it was cool. It's getting pretty late now, and spent some time just wandering around Epcot. I would love to come back and spend a whole day here. There's just a lot of stuff to see. It has a really different feel from the rest of the Disney parks I've been to. Found a store that sells a bunch of Nintendo and anime stuff, and it's really weird realizing this is like 2 minutes from the Frozen ride. Seeing a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 3 Stardust Crusaders poster at Disney World just fills me with some kind of dread that I was not prepared for. The Ratatouille ride was broken down, but after Guardians shook my brain out of place, I don't think I could have fully appreciated it anyway. And this one's not going anywhere anytime soon. I got a little rat that can sit on my shoulder. This is pretty awesome. Also, it suddenly got really dark, but yeah, I guess it is around 9 o'clock p.m. now. It's been a long day, but there's still one park left. Goodbye, Epcot Ball. I'm sorry I thought you were smaller. We've made it to Magic Kingdom, our final destination. Well, more specifically, we've made it to the parking lot. Now we have to hop on the monorail to get to the actual park. The monorail goes through one of the hotels. That's pretty cool. Seeing the city in darkness, it really hits me. I'm tired. But as the monorail continues and I see some familiar sights, I get my second win. There's still time for one more ride. I've been to Disneyland a good handful of times, so it's really weird coming to Magic Kingdom. It has a lot of the same stuff, but everything's slightly moved around. Things are a little bit different. It's like coming home and suddenly Gaston is here. Why are you in my house? For the last attraction of the day, we're taking the People Mover. I've been moving myself since like 5 o'clock a.m. I would like to be people moved now. It's actually faster than I expected, and takes you through a nice tour of Magic Kingdom's Tomorrowland, including some stuff you wouldn't see normally. There's a miniature Tomorrowland. I didn't catch what this is called, but I'm assuming it's like Autopia. There's a Tron ride here. This looks like it's cool. You get to go through part of Space Mountain, through the Buzz Lightyear ride, and you get a really nice view of the castle. Oddly enough, I kinda like this park's version of Tomorrowland better. In California, it feels a little confused. It's like half Toy Story stuff, half Star Wars stuff. Also, Finding Nemo? I still like it, but Disney World's just feels more coherent. I was never a huge fan of Astro Orbiters, but it's a lot cooler elevated above the center of this area. The park is finally closing for tonight, and while I only saw a small bit of Magic Kingdom, I visited all 4 parks in a single day and did at least one ride in each with no repeats from Disneyland. I guess MuppetVision was a repeat, but Disneyland removed it years ago and I wasn't gonna pass up seeing it again. Instead of taking the monorail, we're taking a boat back, because now I can rank every form of transportation in the park. From best to worst, we got monorail, bus, boat, driving in a regular car, Skyliner. There's a bunch of abandoned wheelchairs in the parking lot. Should I be concerned? Whatever, I'm back at the hotel, and before I go to bed, I'm eating my birthday cupcake. Happy birthday to me. Time to pack up and go back home, throw away my work shoes, who needs them? And since there's some time to kill before the flight back, I'm here in Disney Springs again. After a bit more walking, a just okay sandwich, and a drive by a bootleg Disney store with a Comic Sans logo, I'm back on that loop-de-loop at the airport, returning the rental car, passing by the weirdest Chili's I've ever seen in my life, waiting around the airport for a little bit, and I'm on an airplane heading home. Well, Florida, goodbye, good riddance. While I still like Disneyland more, Disney World did surprise me just because there's a lot of really weird stuff that appeals specifically to me. Of course, a lot of this stuff is gonna be demolished, or has been demolished already, so at the end of the day, Legoland is still the best. I guess I'll be back in Florida when Donkey Kong Country opens here. Wait, why did I throw away my work shoes in Orlando? I still needed those.